Welcome back to Grid. I'm Jet Royce, and today we're witnessing the end of an era that will leave you stunned. On September 26, 2025, the Indian Air Force will officially retire the last of its MiG-21 fighters after an incredible 62 years of service. But this isn't just another aircraft retirement story. This is about a jet that made aviation history by becoming the only fighter aircraft in the world to shoot down enemy planes across 4 different generations of fighter technology. So let's begin. It's 1963, and India has just suffered a defeat against China. The Indian Air Force was operating vintage aircraft while Pakistan was already flying advanced F-86 Sabres and would soon receive F-104 Starfighters from the United States. The nation desperately needs to modernize its air force, and they needed it fast. That's when the Soviet Union offered India something revolutionary, the MiG-21, along with technology transfer and local production rights. March 2nd, 1963. Wing Commander Dilbagh Singh, who would later become India's Chief of Air Staff, took command of a squadron that would make aviation history. Squadron Number 28, aptly nicknamed the First Supersonics, was formed at Chandigarh Air Base with the first batch of MiG-21 F-13s, also known as Type 74s. The first 6 MiG-21s arrived at Chandigarh Air Base in April 1963, flown from Bombay to Chandigarh via Agra after being assembled by Soviet engineers from disassembled kits. But here's the fascinating detail most people don't know. Before these aircraft even arrived, 8 IAF pilots had already been sent to Kazakhstan in October 1962 to train on MiG-15s and MiG-17s, gradually transitioning to the MiG-21 system. This wasn't just buying an aircraft. This was India's first major technology partnership with the Soviet Union. These early aircraft were basic, but revolutionary for India, capable of Mach 2 speeds, making India's Air Force officially supersonic for the first time. Technical marvel of its time. Let's talk numbers that will blow your mind. The MiG-21 Bis could reach speeds of Mach 2.05, that's over 2,200 kilometers per hour. With its Tamansky R-25 engine producing 15,650 pounds of thrust with afterburner, this aircraft could climb at an astonishing rate of 225 meters per second. To put that in perspective, it could reach 58,000 feet in just over 4 minutes. The aircraft measured just 15 meters in length with a 7.15 meter wingspan, earning it the nickname Ołówek, Polish for pencil, due to its sleek, narrow fuselage. The MiG-21's first taste of combat came during the 1965 Indo-Pakistan War, but not in the way you might expect. Despite being India's most advanced fighter, the MiG-21s played only a limited role. Why? Simple. India was still learning to operate these sophisticated machines. During Operation Grand Slam in September 1965, when Pakistan launched a major offensive in the Chambak-Nur sector, it was Pakistani F-86 Sabres that dominated the initial air battles. But then came a moment that would become aviation legend. Wing Commander Dilbagh Singh, flying a MiG-21 F-13, encountered a Pakistani Sabre in what nearly became the MiG-21's first kill. As Singh later recalled, for just a bloody cannon, the early F-13 variant lacked an internal cannon and had to rely on missiles alone. The Pakistani pilot escaped, but the encounter proved the MiG-21's potential. This limitation led directly to the next evolution in India's MiG-21 story. The 1965 war taught India crucial lessons. The IAF gained valuable operational experience and provided feedback that prompted significant changes. India placed larger orders and invested heavily in pilot training programs and maintenance infrastructure. By 1967, India began receiving the upgraded MiG-21 FL variant. This wasn't just an improvement, it was a transformation. The FL featured the more powerful R11 F2S 300 engine and, crucially, an internal 30mm cannon, solving the firepower problem that had frustrated pilots during 1965. Hindustan Aeronautics Limited began licensed production of these aircraft, with initial deliveries starting in the early 1970s. This marked the beginning of what would become India's largest indigenous fighter production program, ultimately building 657 MiG-21s of various types. By 1971, everything changed. 6 years after its limited role in 1965, the MiG-21 had become the backbone of the Indian Air Force. The MiG-21 truly proved its mettle during the 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War. On December 14, 1971, MiG-21s executed one of the most strategically significant strikes in military aviation history, the rocket attack on the governor's residence in Dhaka. This single mission became the turning point that led to Pakistan's surrender within 48 hours, resulting in 93,000 prisoners of war and the birth of Bangladesh. The 1971 war also witnessed the subcontinent's first supersonic air-to-air combat when IAF MiG-21 FLs engaged Pakistani F-104 Starfighters. The MiG-21s proved superior in these engagements, establishing India's dominance in the supersonic combat arena. From 1973 onward, India began receiving the significantly improved MiG-21M, known as Type 96. This wasn't just another upgrade. It was a complete rethinking of the aircraft's capabilities. The key breakthrough was integrating the external gun pack into a flush belly installation, the GSH-23L twin-barrel 23 millicannon with 200 rounds. This eliminated drag while freeing up the centerline pylon for fuel tanks or other weapons, dramatically extending the aircraft's range and versatility. HAL's production numbers tell the story of India's commitment: 93 MiG-21M aircraft, followed by 65 MiG-21 MF variants, with the more powerful R-13-300 engine. At its peak, the IAF operated 400 MiG-21s across 19 squadrons, a number that no other fighter in IAF history has ever approached. In 1975, India acquired the MiG-21 Bis Type 75, featuring the powerful R-25 engine producing 15,650 pounds of thrust with afterburner. This variant could reach Mach 2.05 and climb at an astonishing 225 meters per second. HAL produced 220 Bis aircraft between 1978 and 1985, making it the last original MiG-21 manufactured in India. But the story was far from over. Here's where India pulled off one of the most successful fighter upgrades in aviation history. In 1996, recognizing that replacement programs were delayed, India contracted for the complete modernization of 125 MiG-21 Bis aircraft. The transformation was extraordinary. Phasotron Kopio pulse Doppler radar, capable of tracking 8 targets simultaneously and engaging 2 modern avionics with helmet-mounted displays and HAOTS controls. Advanced weaponry, including R-73 short-range and R-77 medium-range missiles, electronic warfare systems developed by Israeli and Indian companies. The first upgraded aircraft was delivered in 2001, and production continued until 2008. The No. 3 Squadron Cobras had the honor of being the first unit to operate these 21st-century MiG-21s. Now, let's talk about its incredible combat record. Here's what makes the MiG-21 absolutely unique in aviation history. MiG-21 has a history of shooting down all generations of aircraft. Let me break this down. First generation, F-86 Sabres during the 1971 war. Second generation, F-104 Starfighters and Chinese F-6s. Third generation, French Mirage III aircraft. Fourth generation, the famous F-16 Kill in 2019. No other fighter aircraft in aviation history can claim kills across 4 different generations of enemy fighters. February 27, 2019. A date that will forever be etched in military aviation history. Following India's Balakot airstrikes, Pakistan launched a counterattack with their most advanced fighters, including F-16s. Wing Commander Abhinandan Verthman, flying a MiG-21 Bison, an aircraft designed in the 1950s, found himself facing a Pakistani F-16, a fourth-generation multi-role fighter that was technologically superior in every way. Yet, in a display of exceptional skill and the MiG-21's inherent combat capability, Abhinandan managed to shoot down the F-16 using an R-73 missile before his own aircraft was hit. This engagement shocked military observers worldwide. As one defense analyst noted, despite being at a technological disadvantage, the MiG-21 Bison was able to deliver a lethal strike, proving that in the right hands, even vintage aircraft can punch well above their weight. And if that David versus Goliath moment gave you chills like it did me, you absolutely need to commemorate this incredible achievement. The team at Squadron.in has designed some epic MiG-21 tribute merchandise that captures exactly this kind of legendary moment. From vintage-style posters to premium t-shirts celebrating the fighter that took down an F-16, they've got it all. Use code GRID for an exclusive discount, because stories this incredible deserve to be worn with pride. Check them out at Squadron.in, links right there in the description. But the MiG-21's story isn't all glory. The aircraft earned the grim nickname Flying Coffin due to its accident rate. The statistics are sobering. Over 490 MiG-21s have crashed since induction. More than 170 Indian pilots and 60 civilians have lost their lives. Nearly 300 accidents reported across 6 decades, more than 20 crashes in just the last decade. The reasons ranged from technical defects and human error to bird strikes and spatial disorientation. Yet despite this challenging safety record, the aircraft continued to serve because of India's strategic needs and the delays in replacement programs. The MiG-21 was designed for a 20 to 25-year service life, with retirement expected by the mid-1990s. Instead, India operated them for 62 years, pushing both man and machine far beyond original limits. Just last week, Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh took to the skies in a MiG-21 for what may be the aircraft's final operational flights. Flying from Nal Air Base in Bikaner, the Air Chief completed a symbolic 40-minute sortie alongside Squadron Leader Priya Sharma, one of the few female pilots to fly the MiG-21. Speaking after the flight, the Air Chief reflected, "The MiG-21 will always be remembered by those who've flown it. It's a legendary platform, but the time has come to move on to newer technologies." He also revealed his personal connection. "In 1985, I had my first flight in the MiG-21, which was a revelation. Fast, very maneuverable, and at the same time, very simple in design. The MiG-21s are being replaced by the HAL Tejas Mark 1A, India's indigenous 4.5 generation fighter. The retirement of the MiG-21 marks more than just an aircraft change. It represents the end of India's longest military partnership with Russia in fighter aviation. For 62 years, this Soviet-designed fighter has been the backbone of Indian air defense, participating in every major conflict and operation. The MiG-21 also served as the training platform for generations of Indian fighter pilots. As Wing Commander Singh noted, almost every pilot in the Indian Air Force, not just recently, but over the decades, has flown the MiG-21 before moving on to other aircraft. We are going to miss them." As we bid farewell to the MiG-21, let's remember what this aircraft achieved. 62 years of continuous service, longer than most nations have existed. Participation in every major Indian military operation since 1965. Training of thousands of fighter pilots who went on to fly more advanced aircraft. A unique combat record spanning 4 generations of enemy fighters. The backbone of Indian air defense through the Cold War and beyond. The MiG-21 may have earned the unfortunate nickname Flying Coffin, but it also earned respect as a formidable combat platform that, in skilled hands, could defeat much more modern opponents. On September 26, 2025, when the last MiG-21 touches down at Chandigarh and its engines wind down for the final time, it will mark the end of the longest-serving fighter aircraft program in Indian Air Force history. The MiG-21 leaves behind a legacy that future aircraft will struggle to match, not just in longevity, but in the sheer breadth of its service record. From the heights of the Himalayas during Kargil to the deserts of Rajasthan, from the jungles of East Pakistan to the line of control with Pakistan, this aircraft has been there. As Air Chief Marshal Singh said, MiG-21 has served in the Indian Air Force for almost 6 decades now. Since it is stopping its operational flying, I think it is the right time to at least cover the history of MiG-21. Today, we've done exactly that, honoring a legend that proved that sometimes the old ways are still the best ways, especially when it comes to defending your nation's skies. That's all for today's episode of Grid. If this tribute to the MiG-21 gave you chills like it did me, smash that like button, subscribe for more military aviation content, and let me know in the comments which aircraft retirement story you'd like to see next. Until next time, this is Jet Royce, and remember, legends never truly die, they just taxi into history.